Have you ever felt like you're constantly fighting yourself? Like there's this part of you that sabotages your best intentions, that makes you lash out at loved ones, whisper cruel judgments, feel satisfaction when someone fails? You push these feelings down, tell yourself you're better than that, but they keep coming back stronger. You're exhausted from this internal war. What if this darkness you're fighting isn't your enemy? What if the parts of yourself you're most ashamed of are actually trying to show you something crucial about who you really are? What if your shadow isn't trying to destroy you, but to complete you? In this video, I'm going to reveal why the parts of yourself you hate most are actually pointing directly to your life's purpose, and more importantly, Carl Jung's exact process for integrating your shadow that will transform your deepest shame into your greatest strength. By the end, you'll understand exactly how to stop the exhausting inner war and start the journey toward becoming truly whole. Carl Jung discovered something revolutionary about human nature that most people still don't understand. He said, "Everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is." Jung realized that we all have a shadow self, the collection of everything we've rejected, denied, and hidden about ourselves. But here's what changes everything. Your shadow isn't just random darkness. It's a precise map of your unlived life, your suppressed potential, your authentic power that you've been taught to fear. Every trait you despise in others, every impulse you suppress, they're all pieces of your wholeness trying to return home. Your shadow contains not just your darkness, but your gold. This video is for you if you're exhausted from pretending to be someone you're not. If you feel like you're living a life that looks good on paper, but feels empty inside. This is for you if you keep attracting the same toxic patterns, the same types of people who trigger you, the same conflicts that never resolve, the same self-sabotage right before breakthrough. This is for you if you sense there's a more authentic version of you screaming to get out. You've tried positive thinking. You've tried being better. But the shadow doesn't respond to willpower. It responds to understanding. Here's what's really happening when you ignore your shadow. Every trait you reject in yourself doesn't disappear. It goes underground. It becomes autonomous, operating outside your conscious control. That's why you explode at your partner over dishes when you're really angry about something else entirely. That's why you feel inexplicably triggered by certain people. They're showing you your own disowned qualities. But here's what's interesting. Your shadow forms in childhood, not from your worst experiences, but from what you had to sacrifice to be loved. Maybe you learned that anger meant abandonment, so you became the child who never got mad. But that natural assertiveness didn't vanish. It went into your shadow, and now it erupts as passive aggression or attracts aggressive people into your life. Think about the people who trigger you most: the arrogant colleague, the needy friend, the selfish sibling. Jung discovered something profound. We don't just dislike these people. We're magnetically repelled by them because they're living out parts of ourselves we've made forbidden. Your psyche is trying to show you something through these encounters. Here's the deeper layer. Your shadow isn't just personal, it's cultural. Everything your family, society, religion told you was bad got pushed into shadow. For men, often it's vulnerability and tenderness. For women, often it's power and ambition. But these aren't character flaws. They're human qualities you need to be whole. The tragedy is that the harder you fight your shadow, the stronger it becomes. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. Eventually, it explodes to the surface with violent force. That's your affair after years of being the perfect spouse. That's your burnout after years of being the reliable one. That's your breakdown after years of having it altogether. Jung introduced a concept that changes everything: individuation. This isn't about becoming perfect, it's about becoming whole. It means consciously integrating your shadow instead of unconsciously projecting it. And here's the life-changing truth: your shadow contains exactly what you need to fulfill your purpose. Let me explain how this actually works. Every quality exists on a spectrum. The shadow of kindness might be healthy boundaries. The shadow of responsibility might be spontaneity and play. The shadow of humility might be owning your gifts. You haven't been wrong to value kindness, responsibility, or humility, but by rejecting their opposites entirely, you've become incomplete, imbalanced, ineffective. Here's Jung's process for shadow integration, and it's simpler than you think. First, notice your emotional charges. When someone triggers intense emotion in you, especially contempt or moral superiority, you're looking at your shadow. That person who thinks they're so special, there's a part of you that's never been allowed to feel special. That person who's so weak and needy, there's a part of you that's never been allowed to need anyone. Second, own the projection. This is the hardest part. Instead of saying, "They're so arrogant," try, "There's a part of me that wants to be seen as important." Instead of, "They're so lazy," try, "There's a part of me that's exhausted from overperforming." This isn't about judgment. It's about reclaiming your power. As long as these qualities live in others, you're powerless. When you own them, you can choose how to express them consciously. This understanding opens a door, and what I'm about to share will show you exactly how to walk through it. If this message is resonating with you, subscribe to the channel. Your support means everything. Now here's where it gets profound. Your shadow often contains your greatest gifts. The child who is too sensitive might have the shadow gift of extraordinary empathy. The one who was too much might have the shadow gift of leadership and charisma. The one who was too curious might have the shadow gift of depth and wisdom. What you've been taught to hide is often what the world needs most from you. Jung discovered that when you integrate your shadow, something miraculous happens. You stop attracting shadow projections from others. The narcissists disappear from your life when you own your healthy self-importance. The victims disappear when you own your vulnerability. The critics disappear when you own your discernment. You're no longer a magnet for what you refuse to acknowledge in yourself. But here's the ultimate revelation. Your shadow isn't just personal healing. It's your contribution to collective healing. Every time you integrate a piece of shadow, you're doing it for all of us. You're showing others it's safe to be whole. You're modeling what it looks like to be a complete human being, darkness and light together. The practical work starts with dialogue. Jung taught active imagination, literally conversing with your shadow parts. When you feel that familiar anger rising, instead of suppressing it, ask it, "What are you trying to protect? What do you need me to know?" When you feel that jealousy, ask, "What desire are you showing me that I haven't admitted to myself?" Here's the complete reframe. Your shadow isn't your burden, it's your becoming. Those parts of yourself you've been fighting aren't trying to destroy your life. They're trying to save it. They're trying to return you to wholeness, to authenticity, to the person you were before the world told you who to be. Imagine who you become when you stop exhausting yourself trying to be good and start energizing yourself by being real. You wake up without the weight of pretense. You speak without calculating every word. You create without censoring your truth. You love without losing yourself. You lead without dominating. You rest without guilt. You shine without apology. This isn't about becoming a different person. It's about becoming all of yourself, the artist and the analyst, the warrior and the lover, the sage and the fool. When you integrate your shadow, you don't lose your light, you deepen it. Light without shadow is blinding and flat. Light with shadow creates depth, dimension, beauty. Your relationships transform because you're no longer projecting your disowned parts onto others. You can love people as they are because you love yourself as you are. You can set boundaries because you've integrated your no. You can be intimate because you've integrated your vulnerability. You can lead because you've integrated your power. But here's what's most profound. When you integrate your shadow, you discover your purpose isn't what you thought. It's not about being perfect or helpful or successful in conventional terms. Your purpose is to be the fullest expression of who you are, shadow and light together. Your purpose is to show others that wholeness is possible. The world doesn't need another person pretending to be perfect. The world needs people brave enough to be whole. It needs people who faced their dragons and discovered they were guarding treasure. It needs people who've integrated their shadow and found their gold. This is your invitation to stop the war with yourself, to stop treating parts of yourself as enemies and start treating them as teachers, to stop fragmenting yourself to fit in and start integrating yourself to stand out. Your shadow isn't trying to destroy your life. It's trying to reveal your purpose. I want to know, what quality have you been fighting in yourself that might actually be a gift in disguise? Share in the comments below. Let's normalize the journey to wholeness together. Remember, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Your shadow isn't your shame, it's your becoming.